Hello friends, and welcome back to Conspiracy Theories with Jack. Yay! So today we're going to be talking about Denver International Airport, the conspiracy theories behind it, and the reasons why people believe these strange theories. The biggest leading theory is that there is a secret government meeting place underneath the airport. There are tunnels underneath the airport, which is true. That's not a theory. And that has to do with it. But people also believe that this is a place where aliens work or people interact with aliens. I don't know. Some of this stuff's a little far-fetched for me. And I'm a big believer in conspiracies, like Bush did 9/11. Anyway, moving forward, I'm going to break down the reasons for you as to why people believe in these ridiculous theories. The first thing I wanted to bring up is this big statue with a plaque at the bottom about the Freemasons. The Freemasons are a big part of Colorado's history, and they basically helped build the airport. And if you guys didn't know, the airport took a long time to get built, was delayed by many years, and went $2 billion over budget. They helped build the airport, and so there's this plaque here, and it's got this future year on it. So as you can see, the airport was finished being built in 1994, and they have a time capsule for 2094 to be opened. A lot of people there just say that there are just pairs of shoes in there and some other things, like the mayor at the time, like some of his memorabilia. Some people say that this time capsule has other mysterious items in it that we'll get to see in 2094 if we make it to 2094. Yeah, it's weird. It's a little weird. It's not that weird, but at the same time, like, why do they need to help build it? Okay, let's just leave that. Let's leave that question open-ended. The next thing we have is this painting. There are a number of paintings at Denver International Airport. This one, however, shows people from many different cultures coming together and kind of just celebrating life and celebrating Earth and the gifts of Mother Nature. Different kinds of landscapes are pictured in this image. It's also just interesting because we're all kind of surrounding this one thing that's growing. So a lot of people kind of believe that this is just about the new world order, everybody coming together and living in harmony, which honestly, this is a very sweet and meaningful painting. Why it's in an airport though, I have no idea. What does this have to do with layovers? I just don't really understand. However, people think it has to do with the world ending and all of the cultures that are left kind of coming together to create a new and harmonious living experience after some traumatic event has taken place to wipe out a large population of the human race. Next we have this guy. Now, what is he wearing? He's wearing a gas mask. He looks kind of like a Nazi, right? It's not the same uniform, but the American version of a Nazi. He looks like he's killing people. And what's happening? There's a rainbow in the background. There are buildings destroyed. Looks like it could be a war in a third world country. There are all of these people hiding and trying to find shelter. There's a dove at the bottom, and doves usually represent peace and hope. And he's kind of just holding a sword to the dove. What is this? What is this about? I think I have to look this one up and go back and add, because this one is just, what? I'm just stopping at Denver International, the biggest airport in the United States. Oh, and did I mention there was already an airport in Denver that was about 30 miles away from Denver International Airport, and they just decided out of nowhere to build a new one. I don't know, seems a little fishy to me. Oh, back to this guy. What is happening? What is happening here? Honestly, I'm not really sure. I don't understand the purpose of this with the dove and the sword, and I don't know. People say that this is evidence of the government's secret plan for a new world order. And honestly, the Freemasons being the largest, basically adult frat in the nation, I don't know, bro. I would not put it past them. You know, the Kevins and the Kennys of the world, definitely all get together and they're what are we gonna do when all the other people die? It just feels a little weird to me. So this painting is called Children Dream of the World of Peace, and honestly, this is a beautiful painting. We are putting the bad guy away, shipping him off. We are building a new world together. There are so many different cultures in this photo. It's very inclusive. You've got the big pride flag, like the rainbow happening in the background. It's beautiful. Really, the meaning behind this image is beautiful, and I definitely see why they included it. However, if all of these theories are true, then this did a really good job of disguising things. This did a really good job of saying, no, we're not talking about the end of the world and whoever's left creating a new beautiful life. We're just being inclusive. Like, this was a great job of the American government just, like, slapping a sticker on it and being like, we're doing good things for our country. We're not killing brown people in other countries. What do you mean? This was great. This was great. Next, we have the gargoyles. Now, I think, personally, the gargoyles are freaking adorable. Like, I think they just really give the airport a lot of character, and they're kind of funny. And so, because of the gargoyles and all of the conspiracy theories, Denver International has started to play into it, because they're like, oh, this is fun. Which, again, like, great disguise. Anytime there's bad media happening, the best way to get people to like you again is to poke fun at it. So why wouldn't they go on about the joke? So with the gargoyles, they had a fake gargoyle out a couple of years ago that literally would talk to people. It was like an animated, like a little Elmo that talks to you. Like, it literally in front of baggage claim was just like poking fun and like talking to people. And I just think that's hilarious and genius. Okay, next we're going to talk about Blucifer. I don't know who named him that. I think it's so dumb. Like, that's just a dumb name. But yeah, his name is Blucifer, and there's this big blue horse that stands out front of Denver International Airport. Now, it is an art sculpture. However, the sculptor of Blucifer died when he was building the statue. Part of it broke off and landed on him, which sent him to the hospital, and there was like some issue with like artery in his leg, and long story short, he died. But his family decided to finish building Blucifer for him in his memory, which is very sweet and honestly kind of tragic. Like, imagine the thing you love kills you. Yeah, that's spook. But the scariest part about Blucifer is that his eyes glow red at night, and like, they say that was because the artist's father had owned a neon shop, and it was a tribute to the artist's father. And I think that's wonderful, and that's great. However, still a little creepy. Still a little creepy, especially if you're not from Denver. Like, you're just visiting Denver, and you're like going to the airport, about to go home, and you're like, oh my god, what is that thing staring at me? It almost feels like a warning. It was like, don't come here. Honestly, though, I feel like Blucifer has the least conspiracy evidence about him. Like, he genuinely is just like a good story. Up next, we have the runway. Now, I'm gonna be real with you. This one really threw me for a loop. Here's the runway pattern. Here's what it looks like. People will tell you, experts will tell you, that it was designed this way, kind of like a fan, to go with wind patterns so that no matter what direction an airplane is coming from, there is a direction that it can land in safely regardless of the wind patterns. Okay, other airports don't look like this, and they still land fine every time. Do I think it was a good idea? Yes. However, here is a photo of what it looks like to some people. Some people will tell you it looks like a swastika. Now, here's my thing. When you are designing the airport, did you ever think, this kind of looks like a swastika? And did somebody say, maybe we should change that so it doesn't look like a swastika? Or did they say, nah, leave it. It's fine. Did no one notice? Did no one notice? Like, in 2021, if someone were to build an airport, that would have been caught right away. But in the 90s, would we have thought it was a big deal? World War II was a lot more prevalent then. It was more recent. Like, it would be fresh in your mind. I don't understand how this one got past the designers. Like, genuinely, what are you doing? It's a wind pattern. I hear you. But make it Flip it. Put it a different way. I don't know. There are other things you could have done. I went on Reddit. I probably shouldn't have gone on Reddit, but I went on Reddit to find out what some of the locals believe about the airport. And apparently, there is a place called Third Bridge where people who were once teenagers and now are not used to go and just go and get out of wherever they were at and just like explore and relax and go out and things like that. Well, there are a lot of stories about that area called Third Bridge that ranged from the place being haunted by ghosts of a slaughtered Native American village to full-on alien abductions and a lot of other weird things way before Denver International was built right near it. Lastly, here's what I'm going to tell you. Aside from Denver being strange and Denver being $2 billion over budget and Denver being 2 years behind schedule due to last-minute design and construction plans, aside from all that, there are tunnels. There are tunnels. Aside from Denver replacing Stapleton Airport, which was opened only in 1929 and functioning perfectly fine and being 260 miles away from that airport, aside from all that, there are tunnels. They're going to tell you that the tunnels are for baggage. They're going to tell you that they use the tunnels to transport bags. And that's fine, and that's good, and that makes sense. But what they're not going to tell you is that President Obama went to Denver for a couple days when a large comet was supposed to come and hit Earth and magically didn't. Why was he in Denver? Some say he was hiding in the tunnels underneath Denver International Airport, just in case. Just in case. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me why he was in Denver. I'm not sure.